I'm going to say something that some of you might not want to hear. Pulling permits is not optional. It's not a formality. It's not something you do only when a customer asks. It's the law in virtually every jurisdiction for the electrical work you're licensed to do. And the contractor who skips permits isn't just cutting corners. They're creating liability for their customers, for themselves, and for their license. But here's the flip side. Understanding the permit process and running it efficiently gives you a professional edge over the guys who avoid it. Today I'm breaking down permits, what requires one, how to pull one, and how to make the process as painless as possible. Hardwired Trades logo animation with ambient sound. Welcome to Hardwired Trades. Permits come up in almost every substantive electrical job: service upgrades, new circuits, EV charger installs, sub-panel work, most commercial electrical. And yet there's a significant portion of the trade that either avoids them or doesn't understand them well. Today, we're fixing that. We're covering what requires a permit, how the process works from application to final inspection, how to handle common complications, and why running a clean, permitted operation protects your business. The short answer: most substantive electrical work requires a permit, but the specifics vary by jurisdiction, so let me give you the general framework. Always requires a permit in virtually every jurisdiction: service entrance upgrades and panel replacements, new electrical services, new construction, sub-panel installation, new circuits added to an existing panel, EV charger installation, dedicated new circuit, hot tub and spa electrical, generator transfer switch installation, whole home rewiring. Usually requires a permit, adding outlets to existing circuits depending on jurisdiction. Ceiling fan installation where new wiring is run. Installing outdoor lighting with new wiring. Generally does not require a permit. Replacing like-for-like devices, outlets, switches, fixtures on existing circuits. Replacing a circuit breaker with an identical breaker, minor repairs. When in doubt, call your local building department and ask. This takes 5 minutes and gives you a defensible answer. I called and they said this type of work doesn't require a permit in this jurisdiction, is a legitimate position. I assumed it didn't, is not. The process varies by jurisdiction, but follows a general pattern. Step 1. Application. Most building departments now have online portals for permit applications. You fill out the project information, property address, project description, scope of work, estimated value, and submit. Many jurisdictions allow you to upload drawings or load calculations digitally. Step 2. Plan review. For smaller residential work, plan review is often automated or expedited. You may get approval within 24 to 72 hours. For larger commercial projects or complex service upgrades, plan review can take days to weeks. Step 3. Permit issuance. Once approved, you pay the permit fee and receive the permit. The permit needs to be on the job site during work. Step 4. Rough inspection, if required. For work that will be concealed in walls, a rough inspection happens before you cover it. The inspector verifies wiring methods, device locations, and code compliance at the rough stage. Step 5. Final inspection. After all work is complete, you schedule a final inspection. The inspector checks everything: panel work, devices, grounding, labeling, GFCI, AFCI protection, and any other code requirements. Step 6. Final approval. The inspector signs off and your permit closes. Keep your copy. Permit fees are a real cost that you need to pass through to your customers, always. Fees vary widely. A residential service upgrade permit might cost $150 in one city and $450 in another. Commercial permits can be significantly more. Include the permit fee as a line item on your estimate. Don't absorb it into your overhead. It's a project-specific cost that's tied directly to the job. Permit and inspection fees, as a separate line on your proposal, makes it visible to the customer and protects your margin. Also factor in the time to pull and manage permits. Submitting an application, coordinating inspections, being available for the inspection, this is real billable time. Some contractors build a permit management fee into their estimates to cover this administrative time. Your relationship with local inspectors matters more than most contractors realize. Inspectors are not your adversaries. They're doing a job that protects the public and protects you legally. An inspector who signs off on your work is in effect an independent verification that the job was done correctly. That's valuable. Build a professional reputation with your local inspectors. Show up for inspections on time. Have your work done and organized when they arrive. Be knowledgeable about the code issues they're checking. Don't argue when they call something out, unless you're certain there's a legitimate code dispute, in which case handle it professionally with code reference in hand, not defensively. An inspector who knows your name, knows your work is clean, and knows you take the process seriously will treat you differently than the unknown contractor who shows up unprepared with sloppy work. They may be more flexible on minor issues, they may pass you on a single visit rather than requiring re-inspections, and they may extend professional courtesy when things come up. Don't be adversarial. Don't try to argue your way past a legitimate call, and don't reschedule inspections repeatedly. Show up, be prepared, do clean work, treat them with respect. Panel upgrades often trigger utility involvement. When you replace a panel or upgrade service, the utility must pull the meter, and that requires their involvement and their timeline. This can add days to weeks to the job. Set this expectation with customers before you start, not after they're without power. Older homes may trigger code compliance upgrades when you pull a permit for specific work. In some jurisdictions, opening a permit for a panel upgrade requires bringing certain other systems into current code compliance. Ground fault protection, bonding, smoke detector requirements. Know your local rules and include potential compliance items in your scope conversation with customers. Some jurisdictions require engineered drawings for commercial electrical work above a certain scale. Know the threshold in your market. If engineered drawings are required, that cost needs to be in your estimate. Permit delays happen. Plan reviews get backed up. Inspectors get busy. Build realistic timelines into your commitments to customers and communicate proactively if things are running behind. The legal risk of working without permits when they're required is real and significant. If unpermitted work is later discovered by a home inspector during a sale, by an insurance adjuster after a fire, by a building official during a remodel, the liability falls on the contractor who did the work and the property owner who allowed it. Your license is at risk. Your insurance may not cover a claim arising from unpermitted work. The property owner may be required to rip out and redo the work at their expense. For your customer, unpermitted electrical work that gets discovered during a home sale can kill the transaction or require remediation before close. A homeowner who trusted you to do the work correctly and discovers it was unpermitted has grounds for a complaint against your license. The permit is also documentation that the work was done correctly. If something goes wrong years later, a circuit fails, a fire starts, having a closed permit with inspector sign-off on the work is your strongest defense that the installation was proper and compliant. Run a clean, permitted operation. It costs a little more. It takes a little more time, and it protects everything you've built. Most contractors either don't think about permits as a marketing issue or they avoid the topic because they're worried customers will object to the added cost. But handled right, your commitment to proper permitting is a genuine competitive advantage. The homeowner who's been quoted by 3 contractors often has a nagging question. Is the work going to be done right? Is it going to pass inspection? If something goes wrong, am I protected? These are real concerns that a lot of homeowners don't know how to evaluate. Here's language that works. All of our panel upgrades are permitted and inspected. That's our standard. It adds a small fee to the project, but it means the work gets independently verified, it's on record with the city, and your homeowner's insurance is protected. A lot of contractors skip this step. We don't. That sentence does something for the customer. It answers the safety question before they ask it. It differentiates you from competitors who cut corners, and it positions the permit fee as a customer benefit rather than an inconvenience. Customers who have done any research know that unpermitted work creates problems at home sale time. When you explain that you always permit, you're removing a risk from their future. That has real value, and many customers will pay a premium for it once they understand what it means. Your Google business profile, your website, and your proposals should all mention that you pull permits and work with the city's inspection process as standard practice. This one differentiator alone can win you clients over cheaper competitors who do unpermitted work. Some customers will ask you to do the work without pulling a permit to save money. Here's how to handle it. First, understand why they're asking. They usually think it will save them time, money, or HOA headache. They don't fully understand the risks they're taking on. Your response: be direct, professional, and firm. I can't do permitted work under my contractor's license without pulling a permit. That's a licensing requirement, not a choice I make on each job. What I can do is make the permit process as smooth as possible and keep the additional cost as low as possible. If they push further, I understand the permit fee feels like extra cost, but unpermitted electrical work creates real issues with your homeowner's insurance if you ever sell the home and if anything ever goes wrong on the circuit. I'd rather explain why we permit now than have you deal with those problems later. If they still insist on unpermitted work, this is a customer you decline. Performing work without a required permit puts your license at risk, voids your insurance coverage for any claims arising from that work, and exposes the homeowner to real financial and safety risk. No job is worth your license. The good news: most customers, when they understand the real reason permits exist and what unpermitted work means for them specifically, accept it. The customers who push back hard and won't accept any explanation usually have other characteristics that make them difficult clients. The ones who understand and appreciate your professionalism become your best repeat customers and referral sources. The permit process isn't something to work around. It's part of professional electrical contracting. The contractors who handle it smoothly have better relationships with inspectors, cleaner liability positions, customers who understand and appreciate the professionalism of a properly permitted job, and a marketing differentiator they use to win work over competitors who cut corners. Learn the permit requirements in your jurisdiction. Build permit fees into your estimates. Coordinate inspections like a pro. Run your business the right way. The contractors who build the strongest reputations in this trade are the ones who never have to defend unpermitted work to a homeowner, an INSP, ECTOR, or an insurance adjuster. That clean record is worth more than the money saved on any individual permit fee. Subscribe for more on the professional side of running an electrical business. If you have a specific permit situation you've run into, an unusual jurisdiction requirement, a difficult inspection, drop it in the comments. Let's talk through it. See you next week.